Moondrop on a tier in 5 minutes. Do the whole thing. It's a good way to see how a reviewer's tastes match up with an entire collection from a particular brand. I think it's interesting anyway, and I can do it in less than 5 minutes, so let's go ahead and do that. First one is the original Blessing. It looks like a tooth and it's got no bass despite it having a DD. It's not my thing at all. I'd give that a D. The next thing, don't check out, stick around. Next thing would be the Aria. People get on this. I think it's so average and middling. It's a jack of all trades. I think it's extremely overrated. Epitome of average. Next set's going to be the S8. This would be the king of Moondrop's releases. I think this is just, I love it. It's an improved A8, and I love it. It's all BA too. Let's call this the SSP out of the SSR SP. It doesn't really have bass, really. It's got a lot of treble energy. It's not my thing. The Dusk, Critical's retune of the B2. I put that at B. It's still not my thing, but it's an improvement on the original. Variations. This would be S tier for me if it wasn't for the mid-bass tuck. That tuck is real. It impacts my library. That's why I find the S8 better overall, just to my ear. An F for that. A Spaceship, I think that's called. That's not a total fail. Put it at D. There we go. Next one will be the Starfield. This is like a derivative of the KXXS. It's pretty good. It's got kind of thin mids. It's got a thin dry replay all across the board, but it's pretty decent. Call this the SSR or the SSP. They're really, this one just has, I think, less bass than the other. I can't even hear the drums. The predecessor to the S8, which was the A8, loved it. It was one of my, just the quality of the build. Fat nozzle, great tuning. Quark, like the Aria, whatever it's called, epitome of average from the company. This would be the Kato or the Kato. This is pretty good, actually. Could almost be an A, but not quite for me. Next would be the KXXS. I would put that, I'm going to go back and put that down at B because it's really the same thing. Moondrop Blessing 2, the set that Kryn retuned. I like this less than Kryn's retune. I think his was an improvement. Put that at C. Next would be the Chew, which is the epitome of average, but it's $20 for that, and it gets ranked at the C. Last one would be Illumination, what I think is just epic. I love this set. Never understood why people don't like it. They make weird comments about it, but I don't get it. Matches my library well. It's musical. Those are all average. These are average sets as well. Move it over. I thought like the original Moondrop, it really didn't have any bass. Critical came along and I think assumed the same thing and went ahead and tuned it up a little bit, and it sounds much better than it did prior. The Kato, I'd take that over the Starfield. The S8, the A8, excuse me, over the Variations, and this got to come down. It's almost the same thing as the other two that it's next to. Love it, love it, love it, love it. And that's my take on the Moondrop. Let me zoom out now. As you can see by looking at this list as we pull out the Variations, or excuse me, the Illumination, which a lot of people weren't fans of. I am a huge fan of it. It plays in a way that's fantastic. The S8 is more technical A8. It's all balanced armature, but I love it. It's a really, really good set. The build quality is beautiful. I think Moondrop did a fantastic job. I love the Variations. The mid-bass tuck was another educational moment, like the Monarch and the EJ07M, and what that does when you have that tight sub-bass focus bump and how that impacts bass guitars and drum kits and male vocals, actually, to a point. If that was slightly tuned different, I think I would put that at S tier. The Bs are what B is. It's a little bit better than average. Not quite my thing, but I can understand why somebody likes the Kato or the Kato. I know why people like the Dusk. I know why people like the Starfield, the Starlight. I can get it. The KXXS, I get it. The C's, not matching my library. instant and automatic can hear it quickly. Average text on all of those, and then the D is just simply not matching to my library because the amount of bass or the way that it's replaying the low frequency. That's why these are ranked like that. It's got everything to do with music and how I listen to it, 77 dB when I measure, and how I like. That's why the illumination is so high, because I like musicality, and that really does that well. And that might be why some people don't. They like the technicalities of a variation. I'm looking for musicality. Those are not the same thing. It's nice to have them both. Cake and eat it too kind of thing. I would take the illumination over the variation 10 times out of 10 because music. And now I'm out.